It's about the United States of America. We are the number one consumers of child sex. We are we're the top 3 destination countries for human trafficking. No country on the planet is sexualizing children by policy than the United States of America.
Mel Gibson has never played by Hollywood's rules, and now he's done what many thought impossible. Mel Gibson completely destroyed woke culture, and Hollywood is furious. His latest film, Sound of Freedom, didn't just break box office records. It exposed uncomfortable truths Hollywood tried to bury. While the mainstream media scrambles to discredit him, audiences are rallying behind Gibson's fearless storytelling. Is he a bold truth teller fighting back against a broken system, or Hollywood's ultimate rebel refusing to be silenced?
Sound of Freedom has a message filled with hope and inspiration. The film sparks conversations and encourages people to help end trafficking in their own community.
Known for his iconic roles in Braveheart, Mad Max, and The Passion of the Christ, his career has seen more ups and downs than most. Yet, every time the industry has tried to silence him, he's found a way to rise again, louder, bolder, and more defiant than ever. Now, with his latest film, Sound of Freedom, shaking up the entertainment world, Gibson has taken on his biggest challenge yet, standing against Hollywood's increasingly dominant woke culture. His unapologetic defiance has left industry elites furious, and audiences cheering. The term woke culture has taken center stage in today's entertainment world. What began as a movement for social justice has morphed into a system where opposing views are met with swift cancellation. Hollywood, once celebrated as a hub of creative freedom, now seems focused on enforcing a narrow set of acceptable beliefs. For Mel Gibson, this isn't just a cultural shift. It's a direct threat to artistic expression. He has described it as a creativity-crushing, silence-enforcing beast that punishes anyone daring to think differently. Gibson has made it clear he isn't interested in playing by these new rules, and his actions prove he's willing to risk everything to challenge the industry's status quo. Years ago, in a little-known interview with John Lithgow, Gibson hinted at what was coming. "I've never seen Hollywood quite so shaken by anything. It's a little late, so we'll see how it all shakes down." His prediction turned out to be chillingly accurate. The entertainment industry's obsession with social correctness has only intensified, leaving little room for creative risk-taking or dissenting opinions. Speaking out against the mainstream narrative can be career suicide. But Gibson has nothing left to lose. That fearlessness makes him not only dangerous to Hollywood's elite, but also a symbol of resistance for audiences craving authenticity and truth.
So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true.
The release of Sound of Freedom was a pivotal moment in Gibson's battle against Hollywood's woke agenda. The film, which exposes the horrifying reality of child trafficking in Latin America, was rejected by major studios for being too politically incorrect. It's the type of story Hollywood claims to care about, but only when it fits their carefully curated image. Rather than giving up, Gibson and his team devised a new strategy: bypass the traditional studio system and release the film independently, with a staggered international rollout. This gamble paid off spectacularly. Sound of Freedom didn't just succeed, it became a cultural phenomenon. The film shattered box office records and dominated global headlines, proving that audiences were hungry for real stories, not sanitized narratives approved by studio executives. But its success came at a cost. Mainstream media outlets launched an all-out attack on the film, dismissing it as fear-mongering, and even promoting conspiracy theories to discredit its message. This backlash wasn't just about the movie. It was about the fact that Sound of Freedom dared to expose uncomfortable truths that Hollywood would rather keep buried. For Gibson, the attacks were proof that he was onto something. He called out the industry for pretending to care about social justice, while doing nothing about real-world issues like human trafficking. "Hollywood has lost its way," he said bluntly. "They care more about protecting their image than they do about making a real difference." His words cut deep, exposing an industry that has long been criticized for its hypocrisy and double standards.
But it's definitely on my mind, and, moving forward, it's a bit phlegmatic at the moment, but I think it'll pick up momentum.
But Gibson's defiance didn't end with Sound of Freedom. His entire career has been a testament to pushing boundaries and challenging the system. After all, this isn't the first time he's faced backlash for making bold, uncompromising films. In 2016, his war epic Hacksaw Ridge defied expectations and earned critical acclaim despite its brutal, unsanitized depiction of war. The movie, which told the true story of Wadiabutu medic Desmond Doss, who saved 75 soldiers without ever firing a weapon, was everything Hollywood claimed to value: authentic, emotional, and deeply human. Yet because it didn't fit the politically correct mold, many in the industry were reluctant to fully embrace it. Some critics even labeled it too violent, conveniently ignoring that its message was about courage, sacrifice, and the resilience of the human spirit, qualities that transcend politics.
Winning is not important. I think it's really gratifying to be sort of recognized by peers who are filmmakers.
Still, Hacksaw Ridge earned Gibson another Oscar nomination, proving that audiences still valued powerful stories over industry-driven narratives. The film's success reminded Hollywood of a truth they've tried to forget. People want real stories that resonate on a human level, not manufactured messages designed to win awards. Audiences didn't just watch Hacksaw Ridge. They experienced it, connecting deeply with its raw portrayal of heroism and moral conviction. And now, with the Passion of the Christ, resurrection on the horizon, Gibson is once again poised to challenge Hollywood's comfort zones. The upcoming film, which explores the resurrection of Jesus Christ, is expected to spark even more controversy than its predecessor. In an industry that often avoids religious themes altogether, Gibson's unapologetic approach feels almost revolutionary. He's not creating content to please the establishment. He's telling the stories he believes in, regardless of the inevitable backlash. For Gibson, the risk has always been worth the reward.
Actually, I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness.
Despite the constant attacks, Gibson has found allies in surprising places. Robert Downey Jr., another actor once written off by Hollywood, has credited Gibson with helping him rebuild his life and career. Downey Jr. has spoken publicly about how Gibson encouraged him during his darkest moments, urging him to find faith and not give up hope. When I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up and urged me to find my faith, Downey Jr. shared. It didn't have to be his or anyone else's, as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. This personal side of Gibson is often overshadowed by his public controversies, but it reveals a depth that many in Hollywood seem unwilling to acknowledge. He's more than just a defiant filmmaker. He's someone who believes in redemption and second chances, even when the world seems determined to deny them to him. It's a side of Gibson that only makes his ongoing battle against Hollywood's hypocrisy even more compelling. The industry's response to Gibson has always been a mix of outrage and grudging respect. While many in Hollywood would love to see him fade into obscurity, his relentless determination keeps pulling him back into the spotlight. He's not interested in playing by the industry's rules or chasing mainstream approval. His films aren't just stories. They're statements, challenges to a system that rewards compliance and punishes dissent. The battle between Gibson and Hollywood's woke culture isn't just about politics. It's about free expression and the power of storytelling. Hollywood can try to cancel him, discredit him, or ignore his work, but they can't erase his legacy. His films resonate with audiences because they're raw, real, and unapologetically human. In a world where entertainment feels increasingly artificial, agenda-driven, and safe, Gibson's commitment to authenticity feels like a breath of fresh air. He isn't chasing industry approval or playing by Hollywood's ever-changing rules. He's driven by a passion for telling powerful, meaningful stories that connect on a deeply emotional level. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.